Yesterday, Sayadaw explained how Nama Rupa, mind and matter, are arising, relating to each other as cause and effect. And Sayadaw explained from both theoretical and practical aspects. When one is noting the objects, and when one knows distinctly between mind and matter, cause and effect, one understands that these nama-rupa phenomena, mind and matter, are arising due to relevant cause. When one understands that nama-rupa phenomena are arising due to relative cause, one overcomes the wrong view of ahetuka ditthi. One overcomes causeless view. If one has ahetuka ditthi, causeless view, one believes that things happen without a cause. But when one understands that nama-rupa phenomena arise due to relevant cause, one overcomes this ahetuka ditthi. In the example, as cause and effect, these phenomena are arising as cause and effect because there are eyes and the visible form seeing consciousness take place. Because of the visible object and the eye base, seeing consciousness takes place and not hearing consciousness. When the sound wave strikes on the ear base, hearing consciousness takes place. It is because the sound wave strikes on the ear base that one hears the sound. And in order to hear, one's attention must be on the hearing so that one knows that one is hearing. It is said that Citta aramane Nitya Nena Karotiti Manasikaro. It means that Manasikara, attention, conducts the mind so that the mind inclines onto the object. So the attention, Manasikara, constantly conducts the mind onto the object so that the mind inclines onto the object. And one will know that one is hearing. So when there is the sound waves, and when the sound waves strikes the ear base, and when there is attention, hearing consciousness takes place and not seeing consciousness. So when one understands this through his or her practice by noting, one overcomes visamahetuka ditthi, fictitious cause view. If one does not know that relevant causes are giving rise to relevant effect, then one will be having delusion on these nama-rupa phenomena. Not being mindful, not knowing on these physical and mental phenomena, there will be delusion. If one counts one moment of delusion per second, in 1 minute there will be 60 moments of delusion, ignorance, not knowing. If one is unmindful for 5 minutes continuously, then there will be 300 moments of delusion, ignorance, and not knowing. In 1 hour, there will be 3,600 moments of delusion, ignorance, and not knowing. So in one day, in 24 hours, if one is not mindful, there will be 24 times 3,600 moments of ignorance and delusion. So if days goes by, if within months or within year, there will be big layers, very intense layers of moha, delusion. And Sayadaw says, if one is not mindful, there will be very intense, thick layer of moha, which is even thicker than the Great Wall in China. So if one is not mindful, one does not know cause and effect. Not knowing cause and effect, there will be delusion and ignorance, layers of intense delusion, ignorance, become very thick that it is very hard to remove. One should note the object with aim and effort so as to be mindful continuously without missing, without failing. If there is lack of mindfulness, there will be lack of knowledge. If one does not develop knowledge through experience of practice, there will not be yatha bhuta nupassana jnana. One will not gain knowledge, contemplating on the true nature of objects in the way they really are. As long as one does not know cause and effect, there will be sammoha, there will be intense delusion. Intense delusion will be overwhelming the person. One will be uncertain, and there will be doubt. So as long as one does not understand cause and effect, there will be intense layer of delusion, uncertainty, and doubt. Having uncertainty, doubt, and delusion, one has wrong view of Mahabrahma creating things. So they will have wrong view, believing in Mahabrahma creating, and thus they are having wrong view, wrong perception, and it is sammoha, intense delusion. When there is sammoha, intense delusion, one will have great uncertainty and doubt. So such kind of delusion, uncertainty, and doubt are piercing into oneself, that such doubt, delusion, and uncertainty is very difficult to be removed. In Pali, it is said, abhinivesa, one clings onto wrong view, uncertainty, and doubt, that such uncertainty, doubt, and wrong view are difficult to be removed. If that happens, the person believes in Mahabrahma, that Mahabrahma is creating, and they believe that Mahabrahma knows everything that should be known. They also believe that there is one and only Mahabrahma, and they believe that Mahabrahma is neither suffering or happy. And they also believe that Mahabrahma is creating, governing, and controlling jiva atta, individual soul, and they also believe that individual soul governed by Mahabrahma is also permanent. In this way, there will be sammoha vinivesa. One will cling onto this wrong view. One will cling onto delusion and ignorance. When the noting mind falls on the object of meditation, and when the person understands cause and effect through his or her practice, one understands that things do not arise without a cause. One also comes to understand that things arise due to relevant cause, and one understands clearly that relevant cause gives rise to relevant effect. In this way, the person understands really very clearly on cause and effect. Understanding cause and effect, one overcomes wrong view, uncertainty, and doubt. When one understands that things are arising as cause and effect in oneself, one also understands that in others also these phenomena are arising as cause and effect. But one does not gain knowledge on other person. One does not gain knowledge on other person that the phenomena taking place in other person are cause and effect. But what the person understands is through inference and deduction. If things are happening as cause and effect in oneself, one understands through deduction and inference that in others it will be the same. In this way, there will be a new mana. One understands through inference and deduction. What is more important is to understand these phenomena that are arising as cause and effect. When the person has discerned cause and effect, the person is said to be much relieved. And not knowing cause and effect, the person is said to be breathing with difficulty, which means that the person is in discomfort, not having any relief, because the person does not know mind and matter or cause and effect. When the person has to ponder whether nama-rupa phenomena, mind and matter, are really present or not present, whether if one has to ponder whether jiva atta, individual soul, really exists or not, pondering about such things, one will be in discomfort and also one will not be in relief. So knowing wrongly, it is said in a Burmese expression that the person is breathing with difficulty, which means that the person is in discomfort. Thinking about whether Creator is really exists or not, one also is breathing in difficulty, which means that there will be great discomfort, uncertainty and doubt. But when the person discerns cause and effect, then the person is relieved from discomfort, because the person is clear and certain that physical, mental phenomena are arising as cause and effect. When the person gets to the stage of discerning cause and effect, the person is said to have some kind of guarantee in this Buddha Sasana, in this Buddha teaching. The person is said to have some kind of guarantee in this life, in this Buddhist culture, as the person understands cause and effect through his or her experience. And she is said to be much relieved, and the person is said to have some kind of guarantee. So by attaining the knowledge into cause and effect, his or her existence that is to be followed is said to be definite. But the text does not show to which extent his or her future existence is definite. But what it is that if one has not become a Sotapanna, if one has not attained the first path knowledge, if one has not become a stream enterer, his or her future existence is not definite. Even the Buddha to be had 9 lives as a monk. Buddha to be was a monk 9 times during his round of existences. He was fulfilling perfection, parami, but even then, even perfecting parami and having 9 lives of monkhood, Buddha to be even got rebirth in apaya, the low existences. So as this Buddha to be was in monkhood practicing meditation, Buddha to be attained Sankharupika Jnana, knowledge into equanimity towards all formations. Even then, even attaining higher knowledge in Vipassana, Buddha to be was still a Putujana, a worldly being. Being a worldly being, Buddha to be committed misconduct, evil conduct at times, and this evil conduct led the Buddha to be reborn in lower existences. So what it means here is, even Buddha to be, who was so great in fulfilling paramis, who got 9 lifetimes as a monk, was reborn in lower existences due to his evil conduct. So ordinary people, there is no question. If they have not attained Sotapanna, if they have not become a Sotapanna stream enterer by attaining the first path of knowledge, then their future existence is not certain. The person can be reborn in lower existences if the person commits misconduct, even conduct at one time or another. So, by attaining knowledge into cause and effect, one is said to be relieved from discomfort. One can breathe in relief as the person has attained this knowledge into cause and effect. Gaining knowledge into cause and effect, the person can be called Chula Sotapanna, which means a minor Sotapanna, a minor stream enterer. So at this stage, the person understands cause and effect by practicing Satipatthana meditation. And one has to practice so that the noting mind should fall onto the object. The noting mind should be calm and collected, unified. When the mind is calm and collected, unified, there will be Samadhi Khanda, concentration group. In other words, there is Samadhi Sasana, concentration training. And it can also be called Samadhi Jhana, concentration vehicle. In other words, Samatha Jhana, concentration vehicle. At this stage of knowledge into cause and effect, Vipassana Jhana, Vipassana vehicle, has not arisen yet. But when one understands cause and effect, one overcomes the wrong view of Atta, the wrong view believing in Parama-Atta, Supreme Soul. When a person believes in Parama-Atta, Supreme Soul, they also believe that one has Dhamma, craving, if one's body is in comfort. And they believe that if the body is in discomfort, Dhamma, craving cannot arise. Craving onto new good existences cannot arise when the body is in discomfort. It is the way they believe. In order to be nearer to Brahma-Atta, in order to be closer, nearer to Supreme Soul, and in order to make Jiva-Atta, individual soul, happy and good, they practice self-mortification, such as Pañcātapa, Paṇḍitā means the kind of practice exposing oneself to 5 kinds of heat. The people who practice Paṇḍitā, they have 4 stoves around the person. They have 4 fire around the person. Together with the sun, it makes 5 kinds of heat. The person who keeps himself, herself exposed to 5 kinds of heat is said to be practicing Paṇḍitā practice. And some people, they live without wearing any clothes. They think it's a practice to stay naked. And some of them, they stand long hours or they sit long hours. Some of them practice by holding onto branches like a bed. They hang themselves holding onto branches like a bed. And some, they stand, they balance their body on their head upside down. Some practice by lying, sleeping on thorns. And some, they bathe themselves in cold water when the temperature is cold. So they are practicing self-mortification in such ways, thinking that by practicing self-mortification, they will be getting rid of tanha, craving. They think that tanha, craving cannot arise when their body is in discomfort. They think that practicing self-mortification, they can purify jiva atta, individual soul, and they think that by practicing self-mortification, they can be closer or nearer to Mahabrahma, Supreme Soul. So they are having wrong view that such self-mortification can purify themselves. In order to know nama rupa, mind and matter, and cause and effect, one should aim the noting mind towards the object and put effort so that the noting mind will fall on the object of meditation. Applying aim and effort, the mind will stick onto the object. There will be sustained mindfulness. Such kind of Satipatthana practice does not have anything to do with self-mortification. One is said to be practicing systematically by noting presently arising object with aim and effort so that the mind will be sustained on the object of meditation. Practicing systematically, one is said to overcome atta kilamata nuyoga. By practicing systematically, one is dispelling self-mortification and one is free from a stream. When one observes on the presently arising object over and over again, repeatedly, then one comes to know the object distinctly, clearly, segment by segment, layer by layer. And also, one comes to understand the characteristics of impermanent, suffering and non-self of these objects. So, the knowledge, knowing cause and effect, it is not special yet. It is not even Vipassana when one discerns cause and effect. But when one discerns the characteristics of impermanent, suffering and non-self through practice, Vipassana has developed, and one has developed a special knowledge, knowing impermanent, suffering and non-self. When the person has gained this knowledge into knowledge, knowing impermanent, suffering and non-self, Vipassana yana Vipassana vehicle has already arisen, and in order to build up Vipassana jhana, Vipassana vehicle, one has to be mindful continuously every single second. By practicing systematically, one is free from two extremes. One is also free from the extreme of indulging in sense pleasure, which is called Kamasukhalika Nuyoga. Kamasukhalika Nuyoga is the kind of practice where one indulges in sense objects. By practicing systematically, when one has built up Samadhi Khanda, concentration group, the person is said to be free from the two extremes. Being free from the two extremes, it is called Majjhima Patipada, the middle path. When one Vipassana becomes matured, one finally attains the total peace, the cessation. Practicing Samadhi Khanda, practicing concentration group, this can lead to attaining the total peace, and thus it is called Patipada, the practice. So Majjhima Patipada means the middle path, the middle practice, that is a way that is free from the two extremes, that can lead to the total peace, which is Nibbana. And one has to practice according to this middle path, middle way, the middle practice that leads to Nibbana. It means that when one practices self-mortification without any gaining knowledge, such kind of self-mortification not leading to any knowledge is called Atta Kilemata Nuyoga. Letting one's mind go freely on sense objects, it is called Kamasukhalika Nuyoga. Most of the people, they lack Vipassana. The people who lack Vipassana, most of them, they automatically practice this Kamasukhalika Nuyoga because they let their mind go free on sense objects. They indulge in taking pleasure in sense objects, and most of the people are spending all the time, full time, practicing Kamasukhalika Nuyoga, indulging in having pleasure with sense objects. Knowledge discerning cause and effect cannot remove Kamasukhalika Nuyoga. Understanding cause and effect, one cannot remove the practice of indulging in pleasure with sense objects. One has to go further, one has to step further, step by step. Knowing cause and effect, it is not Vipassana yet. One has not developed Vipassana yet at the stage of knowing cause and effect. Only when one sees arising and passing away of these phenomena, then one can develop Vipassana jnana, insight knowledge. In the word Vipassana, Vi means various modes of arising and passing away, and Passana means to know. Vipassana means understanding in various modes of impermanent suffering and non-self by seeing arising and passing away of the object. If one has not known the arising and passing away, then one has not overcome the wrong view of permanent. The person will still have the wrong view of permanent if the person has not seen arising and passing away. In the example of sitting down from standing position, when the person is mindful, the person sees as cause and effect, and also the person knows that the objects are arising and passing away. Knowing arising and passing away should be through the experience of practice. In the phenomena that are arising as cause and effect, these phenomena has three parts: the beginning, the middle, and the end. So the phenomena arises, then there will be a moment of arising, and a moment of presence, and moment of dissolution. So in this way there is the beginning, middle, and the end. So there is the moment when the phenomena arises. There will be the moment where the phenomena is in presence, and there will be a moment when the phenomena is dissolving. In Pali it is called upada. Upada means moment of arising. The arising moment is called upada. Thiti is the present moment, the moment where the phenomena is present, leading to dissolution. And Bhanga means the dissolving moment, dissolution moment. So in this way, the phenomena have three moments of beginning, middle, and end. These phenomena have the moment of arising, presence, and dissolution. So when one discerns the arising, presence, and dissolution of these phenomena, then one develops Vipassana knowledge. Only if one sees the dissolution, then one can develop Vipassana jnana, insight, knowledge. Seeing dissolution of these phenomena, one knows that they are not good, they are not present. Seeing the dissolution, one also understands that it is suffering, it is not pleasant. So in this way, when one sees the dissolution, one understands impermanent, and also one sees that it is unpleasant, it is suffering. Seeing the dissolution of phenomena, one understands suffering. Seeing the dissolution, one understands that there is no atta, self, that is permanent, and there is no atta, that is good or pleasant. In this way, when one sees impermanence, then one automatically sees the other two, the characteristic of suffering and non-self. Among the three characteristics, impermanent, suffering, and non-self, when the person discerns any one of the three, the person automatically understands the other two. So the phenomena that are arising as cause and effect, they arise and pass away. So they are not pleasant, they are suffering, and also there is no self involved. So in every phenomena, they have their characteristics of impermanent, suffering, and non-self. When one sees any one of the three characteristics, impermanent, suffering, and non-self, then the person develops true Vipassana jnana. So one has to know any one of the three characteristics in order to develop Vipassana jnana. In the word Vi, The word weak means in various modes of impermanent suffering and non-self, and Vipassana means to see or to know. Vipassana means knowing in various modes of impermanent suffering and non-self. In order to explain these three characteristics, Sayadaw explains the three kinds of characteristics. The first one is the Bhava Lakkhana, unique or individual characteristics. The second one is Sankhata Lakkhana, and the third one is Samanya Lakkhana, common characteristics. Every phenomena, every object has its own unique characteristics, such as hardness, softness, warmth, heat, cold, and so on. In Prithvi Dhatu, earth element, there are characteristics such as hardness, softness. In Apo Dhatu, water element, there is characteristics of cohesion, heaviness. And in Tejo Dhatu, the fire element or the temperature element has the characteristic of warmth, heat, lightness. And Vayu Dhatu, water element, has the characteristic of stiffness, tension, heaviness, and so on. So each of these elements, each of the phenomena, they have their own unique characteristics. And it is called Sakko Bhavo, Sabhavo. Each of their unique individual characteristics is called Sabhava Lakkhana. And Sankhata Lakkhana, it means that every phenomena has the three moments of arising, presence, and dissolution. Every phenomena, apart from Nibbana, has the three moments of arising, permanence, and dissolution. So they are Sankhata Lakkhana. Sankhata Lakkhana is the characteristics having the moment, the characteristics of having the moment of arising, presence, and dissolution. And every phenomena, they arise and pass away, and thus every phenomena is impermanent, suffering, and non-self. The characteristics of impermanence, suffering, and non-self is common to every phenomena. That's why it is called Samanya Lakkhana, common characteristics, because these three characteristics of impermanent, suffering, and non-self is common to every phenomena. And Sayadaw will continue to explain the next day.